Welcome to Living Limitless, Play Your Way to Freedom. I'm Andrea Luzon, and we are here in this series to join with you as you connect, play, and awaken into your greater power and freedom and expansiveness. I'm so excited to introduce you today to Kiki Matoba. And I want you to know a little bit about her. She is a Reiki master and Akashic reader. She has been practicing energy healing for over a decade. She's been featured in Goop's directory of energy healers, which has allowed her to connect to people and clients all over the globe. She believes in raising the vibration of the body, the mind, and the spirit, which will help, which will in turn help heal the individual and the planet. You can learn more at heartkiki.com. That's heartkiki.com. So I'm going to pass the torch over to Kiki. I would love to hear more about your work in your own words, and especially what inspires you to stay in this work.
Thank you, Andrea, for having me. So my work recently, I feel like energy work and healing work evolves and shifts over time. And right now in this moment, a lot of the work that I've been doing is helping people let go of the past and allowing them to let go of ancestral patterns, conditionings, belief systems that no longer serve them in order to make room for new, create space for new energy in their lives, let go of anything that defines them from the past so that they can be their truest, most authentic, full of love self. And what inspires me to continue this work is just seeing what is happening, witnessing what is happening on this planet right now. We are seeing how Earth is really pushing for change in a big way in all facets of our lives, socially, politically, environmentally. And so with that, it's so important for people to truly heal themselves physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, in order to prepare for this big change on this planet. And so that's really what drives me to continue this work and makes me love it even more. Seeing also the individuals that I hold space for, just how much lighter and happier they feel, how much courage they achieve through healing and clearing energies that no longer serve them in order to, move forward in their life and to be a beacon of light to help this whole planet heal and elevate to a new consciousness, which is more loving and more peaceful and more joyful.
Wow, I'm right there with you. I hear you that there's a need. There's a need for your work. And so I'm really inspired about that. And since the series talks about expansiveness and awakening, I would love to know if there was a moment in your life that was there like a switch that was ever flipped. I've been studying a lot about breaking down to break through. So did you when you started shifting into your work, did it happen when you were young? Was it an evolution, or was there like a breaking point that brought you into the work?
It was more of a gradual awakening for me. And it happened about midlife. So around, our 30s is astrologically speaking our Saturn return. And so that's a moment in our life where we start to question where we're at and kind of do a little self-check. And in that time, I was really inspired to learn more about holistic health, and which then got me into healing. And I started taking yoga, eating cleaner, stopped taking birth control, all these things to kind of clean up myself. And a friend of mine told me about a studio that was doing like a yin yoga Reiki class. And I had had my baby about 35, and I started taking that class, and I loved it. It was just like this mommy me time. It taught me how to meditate. It stretched my muscles because my body was being so compromised being a new mother, full-time nursing. And so over a course of 2 years, taking this class once a week, the Reiki really cleared and healed a lot of energy that I didn't even know I was carrying. And it was very gradual for me. And so that my personal journey was a kind of a slower one. Um, but then it took me to make big, huge changes in my life. So I left my marriage, my relationship that I had for 15 years, because Spirit was saying, you know, it's time to move on, to embrace this new self. And and so it really pushed me to make big changes. I moved from San Diego to Los Angeles. And so this gradual awakening did eventually push me to make big changes in my life. But it's not like how I see some people who have had like kind of like that bottom of the barrel moment where they're having like a health crisis or a relationship crisis that really pushes them to awaken. So for me personally, it was kind of a gradual experience.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I love that everyone that wants to be a part of this series, this group, this launch, is really open to being vulnerable and sharing from the heart. And I'm grateful that you are open in sharing your evolutionary path. I think that's so important for all of us for all of humanity to step more into being more vulnerable and more real. So
Yeah, and
go ahead.
it's nice to hear the different stories of awakenings because it's so different. It's such a unique and individual experience for everyone. So it's not going to be the same story, but to hear different people's various stories, I think is really helpful and encouraging.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for that. So I have a question. So as we're all moving through our day, moment by moment through our lives, do you find that do you first, I guess, do you find that you still experience triggers or something that kind of knocks you off of I don't know, I guess something that brings up something unresolved or and like how do we break down the word trigger? Maybe we should start with that. When there's a moment that jostles you, maybe that's a good way to put it. When there's something that jostles you in your life, something unexpected, do you have a method or a process that you go through? I feel like if we can talk a little bit about that, that may help some of our viewers who are, as we're going through this pandemic, experiencing some triggers in their day.
Yeah. Yes, I definitely go through triggers. We can almost reinterpret a trigger in a vibrational way, like energy. And so as we're trying to raise our personal frequency and our energy level, it's kind of like a roller coaster, you know, because we're still dealing with the outside world. And so, you know, there are challenges and obstacles that happened in our outside world that kind of lowers our vibration. You know, after we've been floating high, we've been feeling good, we've been meditating, and then, you know, and then something comes up into our reality that triggers us. And so then it kind of like pushes us back down into a lower vibration.
Mhm.
And it may even feel familiar, like you feel like what you felt like in your past. And and so what has helped me is to acknowledge it and to kind of, you know, I kind of, depending on the trigger, I will do different things. So like, you know, I think breath work really helps a lot, kind of just sitting and doing some box breathing to like calm the nervous system and then clear my mind in order to resolve the trigger. So, because there's always, like Marie Forleo says, everything is figure outable. So there's always a solution to a problem, a find, you know, another side, a light side to the trigger in a
Mhm.
sense.
Mhm.
And so when you can center and ground yourself and calm yourself in the moment and clear that mind either through like 5 or 10 minutes of meditation or that breath work or doing something that you find is fun, like, you know, taking a break and watching a comedy show for 20 minutes or taking a bath and stepping away from the trigger for a
Mhm.
moment and then going back to it. And then you kind of can see it in a different way. Because if, you know, we get triggered and then we're all fired up about that issue, it can really fog the mind and the brain and the emotions. and then not allow us to have a clear resolve with it.
Mhm.
And triggers are also kind of, you can also kind of flip the switch and see them as gifts, because then it's like, okay, well, this is something I still need to work with or still need to work at. Like, this is a judgment that I still need to let go. This is something that I still need to forgive. And so it's a gift in growth. And I think we'll always be triggered, you know, like we'll always be healing in these brief human lifetime experiences that we are in. Like me personally, I know that I will never be 100% healed person. You know, it's like, I know that I'll always be growing. I'll always
Mhm.
be learning. Things will always be triggering me. And then it's like, and then I can overcome that trigger and then get to that next level of vibration for myself.
Yes, I love it's interesting how I think a lot of people, when they're just starting out in their evolution or their awakened state, it's like I remember thinking like, okay, I'm doing this work, I'm doing this work, I'm doing this work, and then I'm gonna be just totally fine. Like everything's going to just be smooth sailing for forever till I die. And it's been fun. I've studied with a few different mentors who have been amazing guides, and learning that it's more like you get here and you're like, oh, something, here's a trigger, and you have a choice. It's like, do we go back? Do we sink into it and let it kind of overtake us? And it can be like this, but it doesn't feel very true, or it doesn't feel like it resonates. And so then you're cruising along, and then here's another trigger. And it's like, are you going to go this way, or are you going to sit with it and go up again? And then so it's kind of more, it's more like da da da, this is our
Yeah.
evolutionary path of being awakened and being less jostled by I like how you said
Yeah.
the vibration that comes in that's not resonating.
Yeah,
So,
ascension is not like an escalator straight up to the top. You know, it's
yeah.
definitely got its peaks and valleys, and yeah, it's lessons. And I love that you described it that way. Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah, I found that to be helpful. Like, darn
Hmm.
it, I thought it was just, and I like that our first impression is more like an escalator. That's even better. Like just it's like, oh, I'm just gonna rise all the way up till I'm enlightened.
Yes.
It's like, oh, look, okay, um,
Yeah, because we still have to deal with the fact that we are in, our spirit is in a human body, and you know, and
yeah,
so then we still do have to deal with the 3D reality and physicality of life.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. The 3D reality of the physicality of life. That's awesome. I talk a lot about duality, that we get to be awakened, and yet we also get to experience the human emotion, the human, the ego, and how do we how do we act when we have feedback, or like you said, the vibration. So I like the 3D aspect. Well, I'm going to
Yeah.
kick off my shoes, or my indoor shoes. And because we had talked a little bit earlier, Kiki, about you wanting to share a bit of an aspect of your work. And that always excites me when someone's saying, yes, let's get on camera and do some experiential stuff. So I'm gonna pass that torch over to you and get cozy, and let's hear about that.
Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, I would love to send some Reiki out to everyone on this through this channel. And so, yeah, if everyone just find a comfortable place to sit and gently close your eyes. And if you're listening to this in the car, obviously, please don't close your eyes. And let's start to just get into the present moment by taking a few deep breaths together, possibly placing your hand over your heart center and another over your belly. We'll take some few deep breaths to get grounded, to get present and in our body, emptying any air out of your lungs, taking a deep breath in through the nose, letting the oxygen down into your belly, expanding it like a balloon, and holding it for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing it out of your mouth. Taking another deep breath in through the nose, guiding this oxygen into your heart space, feeling your chest rise and expand, holding that in for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing it out of your mouth. Another final deep breath in through your nose, guiding this oxygen into your head space, cleansing and clarifying the brain, feeling it lift up off your neck, getting lighter, holding it in for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing it out of your mouth. Simply relaxing your hands on your lap or to your side if you're lying down. Together, let's visualize crystal clear light energy flowing down from the cosmos, down through your crown. And visualize this crystal clear light energy flowing into every cell of your body, penetrating through the membrane of your trillions of cells, filling it with healing, cleansing, clarifying light energy. Allow it to flow through your blood, fortify your bones, strengthen your muscles, and cleanse your organs. Feel this light energy growing and expanding out to your skin, seeping through every pore, surrounding you in a protective bubble of light. Only allowing love to come in, only allowing love to go up, allowing you to stand strong in your own unique power. Sit in this light for a moment, surrender to it, be open to receive. Allow this gentle, loving, intelligent energy to flow where it needs to flow, do what it needs to do, cleanse and clear, and allow you to feel lighter and brighter, at peace, full of love. Now, taking a deep breath in through the nose, releasing it out of the mouth. Start to bring your awareness back into this space, back into your body. Gently wiggling your fingers and toes, opening your arms when you're ready.
That was lovely.
Oh, good.
Mm. I feel like I just took a warm bath.
Beautiful. So the energy felt warm to you.
Yeah, it really
I
did,
love that.
which is interesting because I'm in a cold room. So, or a not warm room, not cold, but not warm. Oh, wow. That really felt, yeah, very comforting, very warm. And what really resonated was only the bubble that only lets love in. And did I understand? And only lets love out? of the bubble?
Hmm.
Oh, yes. Great.
Yeah.
May all people receive me only in love.
Yes.
No
Amen. So it
misinterpretation,
is.
right? I know. No misinterpretation ever. Oh, I love that. Yeah, that felt really good. I'm feeling all smiley.
Mm.
And so Reiki, some people may think that Reiki is about touching, that hands are always touching a person. So tell me a little bit about the remote aspect and then the meditation. So sending Reiki out through meditation. Our listeners may want to know a little more about that
Sure.
while I just
Um,
chill.
What a wonderful thing about energy work, because I know like your form of healing is also energy work, and there's just so many different modalities. And and my soul spirit was guided to use Reiki as my personal way of expressing energy work. And so when we think about how everything is energy, energy transcends space and time. Energy, there's so much energy we can't even see. Like, even though the table and our bodies and all solid matter is made of energy, there's also energy like emotions and thoughts and words. And so that's the wonderful thing too with Reiki. It's this channeled, spiritual life force energy that doesn't necessarily need an in-person touch to be experienced and absorbed and received. And so that's been a huge gift in this past year of 2020, when we all had to kind of isolate and separate and not be able to commingle physically, that I was able to offer Reiki through distance and remote healings. And as I was really honing in and idealizing what works best for my Reiki practice over the phone and virtually, and to other countries, I discovered that it was really impactful to do a guided meditation within my sessions, because it really helps people get into this relaxed zone. So, I'm doing breath work and body scanning and visualization to really get the receiver in a very relaxed state of being, so that they are fully open to receiving all the beautiful, loving energy that is there for them. Because when our minds are racing, or when our bodies are tense, or it's hard for us to let go of the day. It's hard to receive and be open to healing and loving energies. And so, yeah, so I've kind of created this beautiful process of guiding people into a calm state, um, an elevated state, and then incorporating that with my Reiki work. And it's just been a really beautiful practice, and it's interesting how it has kind of evolved and um, refined itself through the pandemic.
Right. Because I'm sure pre-pandemic it was mostly in person, would you say?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there
Yeah.
were some people that were requesting in person, and this past year, and I'm like, I'm sorry, just for the safety of everyone, I'm just
Mhm.
doing distance right now. And so there are people that are kind of like holding off and waiting until they
Yeah.
can do in person. But if it's like, if there's something inside of your higher self, your soul is saying, I need some Reiki now. That's why I'm reaching out.
Mm.
So it's like, don't think that it only works in person. Like, it
Mhm.
absolutely works virtually, over the phone, at a distance. I even had a client who didn't want to talk on the phone at all. And so she was just like, so we would just email back and forth, and we'd set the time when I would send it to her. And then and then I'd email her whatever had come up, or any feedback or any
Mm.
guidance. And then the next day, she confirmed she felt it, and she felt calmer, and she slept well. And so it was beautiful. And we did like a series of 4 sessions that way,
Yeah.
never even talking once.
Yeah. Wow, I love that. Just her getting comfortable at a set time between the two of you, and then she was able to go into the
Hmm.
experience with you at the time. No phone, no
Hmm.
video, nothing.
Yeah,
I love that. Sometimes I think that impact can be more for certain people because they're in their own nest. So you're in your office or your clinic or your home, and then the client is in their office or they're somewhere they're comfortable. And
Mhm.
sometimes I feel people can sink in even more deeply
Yeah.
because they're possibly lying in bed or lying on their own couch or in their own easy chair or rocking chair or something. So,
Yeah, and I love scheduling sessions in the evening, kind of towards people's end of the day, right before they go to bed as well, because then, as they're sleeping, the energy is still working on them. And so they can absorb it even more because as you're sleeping, you're completely surrendered to allow your body to heal. Your body is healing the most efficiently when we're sleeping. So it's so important to have a good night's sleep. And so, yeah, so I love doing sessions at the end of the day before people are going to bed. So they're not like having a full day ahead of them after they've received such a relaxing, peaceful
yeah.
experience.
Yes, I've had clients say, well, I wasn't planning on taking the whole day off, but I'm still buzzing. And I
Mhm.
really feel like I'm just going to go walk in nature and have to, take some PTO or, talk to my supervisor, and I'm not going to be going in today. So
Yeah,
it's,
exactly. They're like so floating on this high vibe that it's
mhm.
hard to like get grounded and like back to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. Which is a beautiful compliment. And then you're thinking, or I was thinking, okay, maybe that I love that feedback. Maybe some evening appointments are really conducive towards letting that vibration just continue and continue and continue. I mean, possibly for 8 to 12 hours while you just really rest. Love that.
Yes.
Really love.
Hmm.
Well, and that reminds me, there's a couple of questions I have that are about living limitless and your own practices. And I feel like you did talk a little bit about practices in regards to staying calm during triggers. Do you have a daily routine, or are there practices that you currently utilize often that you feel keep you in the vibration that that you're reaching towards, or that you would like to live there forever? What practices do you like to inhabit?
I absolutely meditate every morning. So that's the very first thing I do when I wake up. So meditation, I think, is huge because it really does set the vibrational base point for us for the day, and it keeps us kind of calm and at peace, and helps us to handle the triggers that happen throughout the day. So
Mhm.
meditation in the morning, absolutely. Um, Trying to eat cleaner, but again, for me personally, it's kind of comes and goes. I
Mhm.
eat really well for a while, or and then a craving comes along, and I don't feel like we should limit ourselves to the pleasures of food, because that's a human pleasure to have, is to enjoy the deliciousness of food. So
Mhm.
but I think it is important to eat as clean as possible, though, organically, no chemicals, drinking lots of water, whole foods, lots of vegetables and fruit, in order
Yeah.
for our body to vibrate at a higher frequency and to feel better and more energetic. So that absolutely is a daily practice. And then there's one thing that I really love to do that I think was a big game changer for me, was a gratitude journal. So at the end of the day, writing like, 1 to 3 things that you're grateful for, because it almost retrains the brain as well, because
Mhm.
we are born with kind of a negativity bias, because it's out of survival, and it's this ancient, caveman, prehistoric DNA in our systems that are all about like surviving. Like, I have to hunt for food. I have to make sure that I survive this day, and so our bodies are wired to believe in that and to live in that state of being. And with the gratitude journal, it starts to kind of like switch our brains and reformulate how we think about things, and helps us to see the positive and to see how much we have in our lives, and how safe we actually are, and how abundant this world is when we really kind of like set aside and think about that every day. And so, and it literally like raised my vibration when I started to do a daily gratitude journal at the end of the day. So I think that is a really, really good productive habit to start.
Wow. I love that you shared that. And that reminds me that wanting to talk about play. Just to talk about gratitude. I have twins that are 7, and we've been working on that as a family at the dinner table, getting them to say one thing they're grateful for. And even if they are able to focus, then we say, what's one thing you're grateful for about each person at the table today, and yourself. Always incorporating what am I grateful for about me, about how I moved through the world today. And it's really so fun. And even in my husband, I can see a shift happen when they look at themselves, himself, when he looks at himself, that opening of, oh, this is how I showed up. This is how I stood for my values today and stood in my values. So I love that exercise. And you're reminding me that there are days that we forget it and we get to step back into that routine.
Yeah,
A good
and it's
one.
okay to fall in and out of it. I feel like my routines change too. Like, I mean, I've been meditating, yeah, for the past 10 years or so, and the meditation practice will change. Like for a period of time, I was really into Insight Timer app, and I
Mhm,
would just, look up the daily guided meditations that they recommended and would pick one
mhm,
out. And all of those were different topics as well. Some would connect to the violet flame or your angels, or about gratitude or releasing anxiety. And now I'm into just silent meditation, and and for a while it was meditation with Reiki, and I would set up a whole like crystal grid for myself, and it was a whole production. But like, are these like spiritual practices are always changing and evolving. Know that you don't have to do the same practice every single day for the rest of your life. And
mm,
know that, yeah, like your meditation practice will probably evolve and change. You may feel like doing a walking meditation for a period of time, maybe during the summer season or something.
yeah,
So yeah, so know that you don't have to consistently do the same habitual thing every single day of your life for the rest of your life.
mhm. I love that. That actually opens some things up for me. So thank you. So I felt so compelled to go for a walk today and wish I would have followed my instinct on just taking the family pet instead of getting everyone involved. And it ended up being everyone else's walk and not really my walk, not really the relaxation I was looking for. So that's interesting. Listening to the signals that your body is saying and letting that meditation practice or those routines, letting them evolve and not being so rigid. That's awesome.
Yes.
So play then, because we were talking earlier before we started recording about being rigid or serious versus being playful and in tune with our childlike nature. And I would love to hear about how play has a role in your life in regards to standing in your freedom and your power and your expansiveness.
Yeah. Um, it's important for me to incorporate play in my life as a single mother, because it's, every day there's a to-do list of caring for my daughter and getting my work done, and and getting on top of everything and staying on top of everything, especially with the holidays. You're making all these lists of to-dos, and her birthday's coming up. And so I'm like, okay, well, what kind of virtual party am I going to plan for her? Um, and so as an adult, we've got all these responsibilities that have piled up on us, and it can really stagnate our energy. And so it is really important to incorporate play in our lives in order to reconnect with the creative side of ourselves, and that inner child that is always there and ready to create and inspire us within our heart and our soul centers. And so that's kind of where I believe that play is important. And so, those moments where you can just mindlessly, for me personally, I love to do those mandala coloring books. It's almost kind of like, it's kind of like color theory and color healing, and just kind of mindlessly doing something like creating a pattern with color, kind of gets me into this like meditative state in a sense. Laughing too, playing a game with my daughter, and us laughing, I think is a really great practice for me that I've discovered that helps me kind of clear my mind, defog, let go of the responsibilities for a moment, which is kind of what meditation does for us as well. You're kind of just like letting go of all the to-dos, of the reality in the present moment, just for a time to allow our brain to rest. And also, our emotions too, and things that trigger us. We're allowing everything in ourselves, whole selves, to kind of take a break. And as adults, we tend to forget to give ourselves breaks. And so yeah, that's kind of where the play comes in to my life.
Yeah, I love that. Getting back into the moment and yeah, getting in touch with our childlike nature. And I liked how you were talking about hitting the reset button, shifting, whether it's coloring or laughter, or that's really awesome. I love that. That resonates with
That's a
me.
great way of putting it. Yeah,
Yeah.
reset button, totally.
Yeah, hitting
Because we're
that
just
reset.
like on this constant hamster wheel, and it's important to break away from it.
Yes.
Because then that also kind of brings in creative ideas, new ways of doing things as well. Even it could even bring up like an idea of the to-do list, the errands that you need to run. You may be able to reroute it because you took a moment to kind of relax and rest, and you'd be like, oh my gosh, that's how I could more efficiently do that chore.
Yeah, so I can get back to the playing.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Well, since we're talking about playing, I feel that this is a great way to bring in our viewer, our audience, and talk about a perk or a gift that you would like to share, so that we can, bring those individuals into your world, into my world, and really help them feel welcome. Is there something that you would like to share with that person?
Yes. I'm excited to offer a 40% discount on any of my services listed on my website to the first 5 new clients that book. And by using the coupon code Limitless Living. And so I'm excited to offer that to anybody interested. And yeah, looking forward to connecting with new people.
Outstanding. And I will make sure that that is typed out below in the email that you received, so that you have the correct promo code and that you can reach out to Kiki. And so let's see, I guess I would love to have Kiki share. We talked a little bit about creativity and resilience and living limitless, but is there anything that is resonating on your heart at this moment, Kiki, that if your ideal client is out there watching right now, someone who would really resonate with working with you, and you two would be such a perfect match, is there anything that you would like to share, or anything else that you'd want them to know about you, or any messages that you have that you'd like to share?
I feel like one of the natural gifts I give through my work as a healer is creating a space where people can truly feel relaxed and at peace. And and so those are kind of the clients that I tend to attract, or the people that need that moment of um, respite and like respite. And 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 life has just gotten so hectic or overwhelming or stressful, and they just need somebody there to help them find a sense of peace and relaxation, even if it's just for that hour and that night of sleep. Um, and knowing that sometimes we need assistance, sometimes we need people to hold that space for us, and to even just to listen to our worries and our stresses. I absolutely am I'm a good listener, so I love to just sit and allow people to express and just get all those energetic words and emotions out of their system, and then be able to just release and let go and receive and treat themselves with a little bit of self-love and self-care with a session. um, and to know that you're not alone, and that you don't and a lot of awakening work and ascension work is about seeking guidance and help from other people, and for us to do this all together. And so yeah, I just want everybody to know that you are not alone out there. There are people like you know um, us that are here for you, and holding space. Ultimately, that's really what we're doing, is we're holding space for you to realize your true nature, which is, love and peace. And for you to be able to experience yourself going back to that place and to feel it and to know it. And then you can then apply that realization into your daily life. And it's kind of like a tune-up in a way sometimes. Every once in a while, just like a car, your car needs to get a tune-up periodically because it's been running and working so hard. Your body's the same way, and your brain and your emotions and your spirit are the same way. It's working so hard for you every day, always. And so sometimes you need a little bit of tune up, and you need that mechanic, that specialist, that healer to help you, um, kind of boost that vibrational energy level for you.
Wow. I love that. That is all. So the my experience of you is that it's really kind of fun of like being held and being cradled. Like that is, I feel like
Yeah.
that's the energy that you've exchanged with me today of, and we say holding space, and sometimes people are like, what does that even mean? But that's kind of the lingo is I'm here, I'm opening my arms and I'm opening up my world and my vibration, and I'm here to hold you as you express yourself, and I'm here to join with you as we realign you to the direction you're asking to the world to help you go into. We're going to do that together. So that's Kiki, that's totally my experience of you, that you're excellent at creating that cradling, being held space.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, really, it just like exudes from you. It's really wonderful. Really wonderful. So at this moment, this has been such a fun exchange, and I feel as though we've really touched on all of the beautiful aspects of stepping into our power while also being playful, being awake, while also knowing that there are tools we can use to move through the duality of being human, being in that awakened state and then also feeling our feelings. So I just feel like this evolution is so fun, and I'm really looking forward to continuing to follow your work and being part of being connected to you. And I know that our viewers are most likely feeling the exact same way. And so I want to make sure that everyone knows that the way to reach out to Kiki for this amazing discount on her work is going to be right below this video. So go ahead and grab that information and reach out to her to get in touch with her work. So this has been Living Limitless, Play Your Way to Freedom with Andrea Luzon and Kiki Matoba. And I really look forward to you being here for the next interview. Thank you so much.